This video is about active denial system that is a weapon, has been for ages. It's the microwave technology. About 5G, about how far it reaches, about what it does, about viruses, about cancer, because cancer is technically a virus. Kills fucking, I don't know, technically a virus. Take that back, brain's not working properly, but it does the same fucking thing. You know, kills cells, doesn't know what it's doing. Can't fight it. Same shit. And into chopper that just fucking flying, literally circling my house today. I could wave at it, I was waving it. The 5G fucking tower that they replaced 2 years ago, they have extra data for it, and fucking just the prevalence of technology and 5G smart cities, and yeah, I think that's it. So if you stay around, like if you're gonna watch it, you got to watch it all because this is the shit that I was talking about like for years as well. So you know, if you're gonna watch it, you may as well watch it all. And if you like, comment. I really want comments because it gives me something to do. Thank you very much.
Overnight, 5G got enabled, and I know for a fact because I was out here the other week. Wish I'd recorded my power pole, but I didn't think they'd be putting them on the power poles or they'd be hidden. But that is the 5G box, or the 5G, I don't know, it's part of it because all the streetlights are changed. That white pole is brand new. It's not there. Not that box, that white box there wasn't there either. It's brand new. And I take it that black tubing wasn't there either. I'm actually pretty sure that black tubing wasn't there. It goes all the way up there. So yeah, that's where your 5G is.
Marines and several other DoD representatives had quite the heated demonstration at Quantico, Virginia from the Joint Non-Lethal Weapons Directorate.
So they want it to be lethal.
Move away from the perimeter. I say again, this is a military area. Move away from the perimeter.
Their new active denial system boasts a reach far beyond any other non-lethal system.
Well, it's a versatile system. It has
like they can fire, they can kill people like me without us even knowing.
non-lethal capability that we can't even come close to with any of our field.
7 football fields, from where those massive towers are.
About 7 football fields to give it some
Individuals
perspective.
to a crowd.
It can deter individuals
Out
on a
perimeter.
military perimeter all the way up to a riotous crowd.
Very shallow.
All
Nerves.
without
Burning my
permanent
nerves.
harm.
It only penetrates
Oh, really?
6/4 of an inch of your skin.
Oh, are you sure?
Very shallow into where your nerve receptors are.
Don't let any of the guests, oh look, it doesn't do anything, it just zaps me a bit. Oh, that's okay. Fucking idiots.
They even let any of the
Literally.
guests volunteer to test out its effectiveness and safety,
I can
including
be electrocuted a
the
bit.
Assistant Commandant of the
Every time
Marine
I go outside.
Corps, Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps,
Non-lethal.
and Assistant Secretary of the
Non-lethal,
Navy.
guys. Until it
Most
fucking
described
is.
it
Wake
as
up.
feeling like a hot
Look,
oven
watch the
or
end of the
grill
video.
being opened up.
It is something that, once again, probably the safest system that we've developed as far as the non-lethal capability.
From Washington, I'm Sergeant Andrew Milner.
So, yeah, that's mine. So, I got sent a message earlier saying like that. Look, if you look at the street dates, they change it, right? 2019, 2019, 2019, 2010. Why does that jump to 2010? 2014, 2010, 2019, 2019, 2019. 2014 across the road from my house.
house. Yep, a couple down the street, which I'll get back to. First one on the corner, I've got no idea, but the red house that kept cutting off their driveway, that chick always runs out onto the fucking road and tells me to slow down even when I'm not speeding. Like, she's done it like every time. I can get mates that will say, yeah, she's stepped out in the car. Like, I thought she was just a drunk. Like, her house isn't being updated. Every other house has in the street, eh? Notice that? Every other house in the street. Oh, I didn't come up this side. Back up here. Oh. Let's go to 24 then. That's a bit next to it. There. Broke it. That goes closer to my house. And there's like broken. Oh, I find that fucking weird. There's 2019 photos there. And the weird towers and weird boxes that went there. Yeah, normal. Normal box in 2014. Normal pole. It's a bit weird. Why are you so close to my fucking house? Hey? What are you doing right there? Flying literally over my house. Huh? You haven't had enough for killing me? You coming to check if I'm dead yet? What are you? So you gonna turn around? Turn around, buddy? I bet you will. How long should I wait, hey? Still going. I'm gonna go back inside, it's too far away. Or is it turning around? Is it stopping? It's turning or something. I told you they'd come back. Wait, what are they doing? Circling my house, circling me. No, you stop looking at us when inside, they'll go back. Like, everyone can call me crazy. As much as you fucking want. Yeah, exactly what I said is true. I had a fucking clean MRI. Right? Every time I go outside for the past year and a fucking half or something, I get electrocuted, I get headaches, and I could hear this kind of scratching that now is just all in my head. Coppers are circling my fucking house. Right. Coppers, are they even coppers? It's a copper chopper, but you know, fucking knows he's in it. And yeah, then I go to the hospital 2 weeks ago and they say you've got 3 weeks to fucking live because cancer's everywhere. Look at them circling me. What are you doing? What are you doing? Like, a way to make me paranoid. You're literally circling my house. Like, how big an area are you circling here? 10 Ks or some crap? Huh? I don't get it. Like, some pretty big margin right there. That's the train. It seems to be going really fucking slow for some reason. It doesn't ever go that slow. Look at that, and they're flying through the sun. So I can't see them. Right, literally flying behind the sun. I can't see that. I can't look up there. So the camera's doing a great job to pick it up and block the sun out. Yeah, look at them. They're flying over the sun. Hi. Say hello to him. Wave. Wave at the policeman in the chopper. Oh, the train's coming backwards the other way now. Yep. What is this fucking chopper doing, bro? Like, this is literally low as fuck as well. And it's in Baronia. Like, how low do you actually want to get? What does everybody think of this? Now they're running away, or? It's like they've had enough of fucking circling me.
Now, I have 10 minutes. I wasn't sure I was going to get to this stage, but I can't help but say something about this whole, if you want me to. So, again, when you know Steiner, you have the answers to the test, but you have to then figure out the details. In 1918, after the biggest pandemic, the Spanish flu pandemic of 1918, Steiner was asked, what was this all about? And he said, well, viruses are simply excretions of a toxic cell. Viruses are pieces of DNA or RNA with a few other proteins. They bud out from the cell. They happen when the cell is poisoned. They are not the cause of anything. And the first way I would encourage you to think about this is if you were a famous dolphin doctor, right? And you've been studying dolphins in the Arctic Circle for hundreds of years, or at least a long time, and the dolphins were fine. And then they call you up, Fred, all the dolphins, or a lot of the dolphins are dying in the Arctic Circle. Can you come and investigate, right? And you have one question to ask. So show of hands, how many of you would say, I want to investigate a dolphin to see the genetic makeup of that dolphin? Nobody, because that's stupid. How many of you would say, I want to see if this dolphin and that dolphin has a virus because it might be contagious and that's why all these dolphins are getting sick? That fellow. How many of you would say, excuse my French here, somebody put some shit in the water here? Like Exxon Valdez? Anybody? Everybody. Because that's what happened. And the cells get poisoned. They try to purify themselves by excreting debris, which we call viruses. If you go to the current theory of viruses called exosomes, and the latest head of the NIH giving a talk on the complexity of viruses, you will see this is perfectly in line with the current thinking on what a virus really is. I had a dramatic example of this when I was growing up. Right outside our house, there was the wetlands, and they were full of frogs, and the frogs kept me up at night, so I taped the windows, and in the spring they made a big racket. And then over time, the frogs were all gone. How many thinks the frogs had a genetic disease? How many think the frogs had a virus? How many think somebody put DDT into the water? That's what happened. Diseases are poisoning. It's one of the reasons why vaccine. So what happened in 1918? There was a huge, in every pandemic in the last 150 years, there was a quantum leap in the electrification of the Earth. In 1918, late fall of 1917, there was the introduction of radio waves around the world. Whenever you expose any biological system to a new electromagnetic field, you poison it, you kill some, and the rest go into a kind of suspended animation, so that interestingly, they live a little bit longer and sicker. And then starts in World War II with the next pandemic with the introduction of radar equipment all over the Earth, blanketing the entire Earth in radar fields. First time humans have ever been exposed to that. In 1968, there was the Hong Kong flu, and it was the first time the Earth has a protective layer in the Van Allen belt, which essentially integrates the cosmic fields from the sun and the Earth, from the moon and Jupiter, et cetera, integrates that and essentially distributes that to the living beings of the Earth. And we put satellites emitting radioactive frequencies in the Van Allen belt. Within 6 months, we had a new viral pandemic. Why viral? Because the people are poisoned, they excrete toxins, they look like viruses. People think it's a flu epidemic. In the 1918 epidemic, the Boston Health Department decided to investigate the contagiousness of this. So they, believe it or not, took hundreds of people with the flu and they sucked the snot out of their nose and injected it into the healthy people who didn't have the flu. And not one time could they make the next person sick. They did this over and over again, and they were not able to demonstrate contagion. They even did it with horses who apparently got the Spanish flu, and they put bags over their head, and the horses sneezed in the bag, and they put the bag over the next horse, and not one horse got sick. You can read about this in a book called The Invisible Rainbow by Arthur Furstenberg, who chronicles all the steps in the electrification of the Earth and how within 6 months there was a new flu pandemic all over the world. And when you hear the normal explanations, how did it go from Kansas to South Africa in 2 weeks? So the entire world got the symptoms at the same time, in spite of the fact that the mode of transportation was horseback and boats, and there's no explanation for it. They just say, we don't know how that happened. But when you think about it, with these radio waves and other frequencies that some of you have in your pocket and on your wrist, you can send a signal to Japan and it arrives instantaneously. So any of you who don't believe there's an electromagnetic field that communicates globally within seconds just is not paying attention to this. And I will only finish by pointing out that there has been a dramatic and quantum leap in the last 6 months with the electrification of the Earth. And I'm sure a lot of you know what that is. It's called 5G, where they now have 20,000 radiation-emitting satellites, just like the radiation-emitting thing in your pocket and on your wrist and that you use all the time. That is not compatible with health. I'm sorry to say it. It's not compatible with health. That is a water destructuring device. And for any of you who say, yeah, well, we're not electrical beings, we're just physical matter, then don't bother doing an EKG or an EEG or a nerve conduction test, because we are electrical beings and the chemicals are only the byproduct of those electrical impulses. And I'll finish with anybody want to make one guess as to where the first completely blanketed 5G city in the world was. Exactly. So when you start thinking about this, we are in an existential crisis here, folks. the likes of which humankind has never seen. And I don't want to go all Old Testament prophet on you, but this is something that is unprecedented. The putting of 100,000 satellites in the very blanket of the Earth. And by the way, as I was going to say earlier, this actually has something. About a year ago or so, I had a patient who came in who was totally fine, a surfer and all, and he works as an electrician putting in Wi-Fi systems for very wealthy people. Electricians have a very high mortality rate, but he was fine. And then he breaks his arm and he gets a metal plate put in his arm. 3 months later, he couldn't get out of bed and was total, heart irregularities, just total collapse. The susceptibility has to do with how much metal you have in your body, as well as the quality of the water in your cells. So if you start injecting aluminum in people, they become receptors for absorbing increased electromagnetic fields, and that is a perfect storm for the kind of deterioration of the species, which is what we're now experiencing. And I'm just going to finish with one more thing, which I like to, is a quote from Rudolf Steiner, and by the way, this was around 1917, so it was a different time. In times when there were no electrical currents, when the air was not swarming with electrical influences, we're talking 1917, it was easier to be human. For this reason, in order to be human at all today, it is necessary to expend much stronger spiritual capacities than was necessary a century ago. So I'll just leave you with whatever you can do to increase your spiritual capacities, because it's really damn hard to be a human being these days. So thanks for listening.
If you actually sat through and watched it all, I'll let you make up your own mind, but I'm going to the doctors tomorrow and shit Monday, so I'm going to ask them all these questions. I'm trying to get on a podcast with as much information as I can get to have somebody else question me about this stuff and see how it goes. So hopefully that works out. It should be interesting if it works. Otherwise, I'm going to bed because I've been waiting. In a couple of hours, I'll be going to bed. I was trying to make sure I had enough hours awake, but that I actually go down and sleep tonight, so I'm awake tomorrow to do all this stuff properly. But 6 days left, according to what they said. So have a good sleep, everyone. Good luck. These videos are educational, entertaining, like whatever. If you like and subscribe, you don't have to hit the bell notification because it's pretty erratic. That's the point of the series. But yeah, I like it to get around. I think it's important. If you do, or whatever, thank you very much.